Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. It's time to check in in Assumption Parish, and the sheriff there, Leland Falcon, with his department. Lonnie Cavalier is our commander that we speak to for some of the Assumption Parish releases. Kind of a busy 4 days you guys have had there, including one that we'll get to that kind of went a little viral with people talking about some of the circumstances there. But let's start with, you had an aggravated assault yesterday on Monday. So you want to start off with that one, Lonnie?
Yes, Harry, thanks for having us. On Monday morning, early Monday morning, our dispatch center received a 911 call of an armed robbery in the 100 block of Ryder Lane near Labadeville. Deputies responded to that complaint, and upon arrival, made contact with several individuals who reported that a disturbance had occurred in the area. Upon further investigation, it was determined that Montreal Lawrence Garrison was the person that had actually made the 911 call. There was no armed robbery that had occurred. However, a disturbance occurred. Garrison became enraged because his party had not brought in food from a Houma restaurant, and he actually began swinging a knife around several people. Upon completion of that investigation, deputies arrested Montreal Lawrence Garrison, 29, of Gray, Louisiana, on charges of 2 counts of aggravated assault and a probation violation. He remains incarcerated without bond at this time.
Wow. So Garrison was actually called 911.
Yes, he's the one who called 911, reported an armed robbery. However, there was no armed robbery.
Right. I see. And I don't mean to make light of it, and I don't mean to make light of the next one, but this one has gotten a little more attention because of what was involved with a couple. It was a dispute, and of course, it comes down to a video game. And I think a lot of people were going, well, yeah, that's serious if somebody steals a video game. So tell us a little bit about this next one.
Yeah, this involved an individual by the name of Jessica Page Smith, 37, of Bayou. She was in a relationship with an individual, and on June 16th, that individual filed a complaint of a theft of a PlayStation 5. They were in a relationship, and when she left, allegedly she took the PlayStation 5 with her. At the completion of that investigation, deputies obtained an arrest warrant for Jessica Page Smith, and she was arrested. In fact, she turned herself in on Monday and was booked into the Assumption Parish Jail and posted a $10,000 commercial bond.
So, I think a lot of men of a certain age, and maybe not you or I, but a little bit younger than ours, PlayStation 5 is a pretty valuable piece of their, not only their furniture, but also their lifestyle. So that's a pretty serious event. And you've actually gotten a few calls, and I think Fox 8 was showing it, and a lot of people seem to get a chuckle over people fighting over PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It is a big deal here.
that can really be a cause for sure for people wanting to know what's going on. Actually, it breaks up a lot of relationships too when people playing PlayStation 5 so long. But yeah, a lot of times you'll see that over dogs. Do you see that over dogs and pets as well?
Absolutely. Basically just the same. PlayStation 5 is very important in some people's lives, and it becomes very personal when you steal one, or you're accused of stealing one.
Now, there was also another part of this, I guess, is that so after the arrest, then as you're going through the court system now, a lot of domestic things, a lot of times you'll call the police, and then you want to you don't want to press charges later on. And was that the case a little bit in this one?
Yes, that is correct. The other partner contacted us, after the district judge have actually signed the warrant, saying he didn't want her arrested. That it was a misunderstanding. However, the warrant had already been signed, and it's not that easy. You can't just undo a judicial warrant. And he didn't come in and deal with it, so we had no alternative but to execute the warrant, and then it goes on from here to the DA's office.
Is that a particular danger, with, especially with domestic violence, those kind of things? That look, I've never ridden in a police car. A lot of times you'll see cops or one of those where somebody calls the police, they show up, and then they turn on the police. That's got to be one of the big dangers of being a police officer.
It is common and more common in domestic than any other faction of what we do. And it does happen. It does happen regularly in domestic cases. And once you involve us and the laws have changed dramatically on domestic related cases now. And if we don't act on a particular case and something ends up going, sideways from there, we can be held civilly liable for that. So we tell our people, you have to pursue it once you're dispatched on that call.
Yeah, that's part of the new rules, right, with domestic violence now, because that can be the case, and a witness or somebody that's a victim might be intimidated, and it may change their tune when it's in there. So you guys don't even have a choice anymore, right? You have to follow through on domestic violence.
You have to take the danger out of the game, and the objective is to immediately identify the predominant aggressor, and if you can't do that, whatever you do, you got to make sure they are separated, and they don't have the opportunity to get back together, until a court allows them to do so. And yes, we are civilly liable if we don't act in a domestic matter.
Yeah, that's one of the tough things about police officers, that's for sure. Hey, Lonnie, let us take a break. We'll be right. We have 3 more cases we want to talk about. We'll be right back with more Bayou Time right after this.
Cardiovascular Institute of the South is celebrating 40 years of delivering health care to our patients and communities. Founded by Dr. Craig Walker in 1983 and guided by a mission to provide the highest quality cardiovascular care available, CIS has pioneered hundreds of firsts to improve outcomes for cardiovascular diseases. Through new technology, virtual care, outpatient procedures, and national growth, CIS is improving lives and leading the way for advanced care and innovation.
Hey, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. We're spending some time with Assumption Parish Commander of their Sheriff's Department, Lonnie Cavalier. Lonnie, like we were talking, I guess a busy 3 days in Assumption Parish, 4 days. And so we'll continue 3 more arrests that were made over the last since Friday. Huh?
Yes, on Friday, Friday, we had 2 high-speed pursuit cases. The first one occurring near Labadeville, in which a Chase Anthony Cleveland, 34 of Thibodaux, and a Timothy Christopher Riley, 40 of Gretna, were taken into custody. A deputy clocked the vehicle speeding. Pursuit began in speeds of excess of 100 miles an hour. The driver eventually pulled into a private business in Labadeville. The driver was identified as Chase Anthony Cleveland. He was charged on counts of aggravated flight, driving under suspension, and reckless operation. His bond is set at $100,000. Timothy Christopher Riley was charged as a fugitive from Lafourche Parish for felony theft, and he was transferred to the custody of Lafourche Parish.
So they were doing over 100 miles an hour. That's on LA1 or 308?
398. That's going to be the road between Labadeville and Bayou Lewis.
I got you. Oh, I got you. Yeah, I take that road actually a lot. So, yeah, well, at least it wasn't that populated of an area. But yeah, they do have houses along there. But I was thinking 308 or LA1. I was like, ooh, that's going really fast. So, so they'll remain in jail. You also had another traffic violation, right? With other multiple violations.
Yes, we had a Kobe Therese Nicholas, 24 of Patterson, was actually taken into custody for us by Morgan City Police Department. This was a result of a high-speed chase on November the 15th, 2023, near Amelia. The ICE unit, which is our intensified criminal enforcement unit, clocked a vehicle speeding, gave chase into St. Mary Parish, at which time the driver abandoned the vehicle. The driver was eventually identified as Kobe Therese Nicholas. Warrants were filed for his arrest. At the time of the seizure of the vehicle, we confiscated a significant quantity of marijuana. Warrants were filed for his arrest for possession with intent to distribute marijuana, aggravated flight, multiple traffic violations, a probation violation, and a fugitive warrant from St. Mary Parish. He remains in our facility now with bond set at $155,000.
So when you make it to a parish line, it's not, you can't, you guys can still pursue when you cross parishes, right?
Absolutely. We do pursue and at the earliest possible time that we can notify the parish we're going in, we do so. And generally, when we have enough notice, we get assistance from them. In this particular case, it was right at the St. Mary Assumption line when the pursuit was initiated. So things happen pretty quickly, but we have a good working relationship with St. Mary, Terrebonne, Lafourche, all of those parishes. So we tend to pay attention to each other in those situations.
Yeah, they all come together right there around Amelia too, and St. Martin's not too far away either. So yeah, it could be parts of 4 parishes right there in that little corner, for sure. And is it the same way with state lines too? When you cross a state line?
Same situation. You go back to what's considered compact and who's not. What states are compact and who's not, and fortunately all around us, again, we have the ability to be able to correspond with those agencies as this is going on. If not, we do it at our earliest possible convenience, and usually get a lot of help from outside agencies.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And, I think maybe I'm watching Bonnie and Clyde movies too much where they just make it to the state line. They were good to go. So that's just a joke.
Yeah. And, pursuits of things we carefully assess now. And sometimes, on some occasions we do have to call them off because we really don't know what we're chasing. And when it becomes hazardous, we basically do what we have to do to sure. Keep the public safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the final one was another traffic stop, and this time ICE was involved here, but it's not the immigration, as you'll tell us.
No, that's our intensified criminal enforcement group. They basically patrol the highways, or we send them to trouble spots where we want specific situations worked. And in this particular case, they were patrolling on the area of Highway 1 in Belrose when they encountered a speeding vehicle. They stopped that vehicle, and the driver was identified as Jeremy K. Paul, 34. The passenger was LaJoya Tashira Hervey, 32. Both of them live in Pankerville at the same address. As deputies approached the vehicle, Mr. Paul began emptying a container of narcotics onto the roadway. We were able to take him into custody and eventually took her into custody as well. They were charged on counts of possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession of Schedule 4 narcotics, obstruction of justice, and Paul was also cited on numerous traffic violations. They remain incarcerated with their bonds both set at $170,000.
Wow. So an incredible, lot of work on the highways for sure. So you guys have been out and about, and we always talk about Assumption, such a big area that you have to do a lot of work on highways like that. So Lonnie, we sure appreciate the update from Assumption Parish, and thanks for keeping our folks safe up there.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate y'all.
All right. We'll be right back for more Bayou Time right after this.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.